When we add fractions with a common denominator, we know we can add the numerators and keep the denominators. But what do we do if we have different denominators? Let's take a look at this again with a picture. Let's start with a fraction where we're going to shade 1/3 of it. So we have 1/3 shaded. And then I'm going to do another bar, and I'm going to shade half of it. Well, when we add those together, it's going to be kind of difficult to tell how much is shaded because the boxes are not all the same size. We're going to have 1/3 shaded on the left and 1/2 shaded on the right, but what fraction overall is actually shaded? That's hard to see like this unless we do something a little different. What if I took each of these thirds and I split them in half? In other words, I now have shaded 2/6. And the halves, what happens if I split them all into thirds? In other words, now I've shaded 3/6. Notice when I do that, we end up with everything in sixths. And 5 of those 6, or 2/6 plus 3/6, actually end up shaded. The way we're going to add fractions with different denominators is we are going to get a common denominator using the least common multiple of the denominators. Let's see if we can see what this looks like. Let's do 3/4 minus 5/6. Now this one I might be able to look at and kind of see what the common multiple is. We know 6 is not divisible by 4, but if I double 6 and get 12, 12 is divisible by 4. So the second fraction, I'm going to multiply by 2/2 to get a denominator of 12 and a numerator of 10. In the first fraction, I can multiply by 3/3. That gives me a denominator of 12 and a numerator of 9. We've got a common denominator. Now we can subtract the numerators and keep the denominator to get our solution. Now, number 2, you might have been able to look at and kind of see, oh, 4 and 6 both go into 12, so 12 is the common denominator that I want. Sometimes it's not as obvious, and so we're going to have to use our Venn diagram to help us find the common denominator. Let's try 7/24 plus 11/36. Let's find the prime factorization of 24. 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. Let's also find the prime factorization of 36. 36 is 2 times 18. 18 is 2 times 9. And 9 is 3 times 3. The Venn diagram method is really nice for fractions because they all have in common a 2, actually a second 2, so 2 squared. They also have in common a single 3, but the 24 on the left has an extra 2, and the 36 on the right has an extra 3. The reason this is nice is the stuff in 24 that was extra is what we need to multiply the 36 by. So the 36 needs to be multiplied by 2/2. And the stuff that's extra in the 36 is what we're going to multiply the 24 by. So 24 gets multiplied by 3/3. And when I do that, 7 times 3 is 21. Over 24 times 3 is 72. Plus 11 times 2 is 22. Over 36 times 2 is 72. And look at that. We got the common denominator we were hoping for. Now we can add the numerators to get 43 and keep the denominator of 72. And we have our final solution. So the way we add and subtract fractions with different denominators is we get a common denominator using that least common multiple of the denominators. And if it's not obvious what that common multiple is, we can use the Venn diagram method, and the extra stuff is what the other fraction gets multiplied by. Now it's time for you to practice some of these. Let your instructor know if you have any questions.